This is Marlene, and you are tuned in to the Motivated Podcast, where we talk about inspiration, motivation, life lessons, and self improvement. You are welcome to it, and shout out to all my channel members. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Motivated Podcast every Monday on this channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you over here as a part of the Motivators family. I can't wait for us to get into today's topic. We're going to be talking about why it's important for us to unplug from others to recharge. This is a very important topic because we can't continue to pour into other people and we never pour into ourselves. It's a part of self improvement, self love, and self awareness. And I do realize that a lot of times we are really not aware of our power. We're really not aware of what we deserve, what we don't value ourselves enough. We don't honor ourselves the way that we should. And it's important to unplug because there's a lot of things that we're plugged into, in today's society, in this world that we live. It's all about social media and being a part of devices, whether it be our phones, our computers, our tablets, or just being reachable. There was a time where we just weren't reachable back in the day. If you were out and you were doing something, you didn't get messages until you got home. I definitely feel that some things is not a good thing for technology. You have to go off grid sometimes and be unreachable, undetectable to other people so that you can be okay. It's not okay to always be plugged into everyone. We have to unplug from other people because I definitely will say that a lot of people are toxic. There's no other way to sugarcoat it or say it in a nice way. There's a lot of people who are toxic users, manipulators, or just needy. They're just needing so much from you. And when we do that, we are taking away from our personal abilities, from what we should be focused on, and how we should be taking care of ourselves. So I definitely wanted to come on today on the podcast and have this conversation about why it's so important for us to unplug from others so that we can recharge, to get charged up. The issue most of the time is that most of us, we get to where we're at zero or we're in the negative and we just shut down because of our health, physical health, our mental health, our financial health, our spiritual health, just not in a good space. So, in having this conversation, we have to think about ourselves, putting ourselves back on, the map, on the list, because there's a lot of things that we have as a to do, right? We have to do this and we have to do this for everybody. But when is the last time you pencil yourself in or wrote in pen? I got to think about me today. I'm doing something for me today. I'm taking care of my thoughts. I'm taking care of my focus and what I want and what I need. So, yeah, and talking about recharging ourself, there's a lot of things that we need to recharge. We need to recharge our body in getting adequate rest. We need to activate our mind, and we can't do that in worrying about other people and supporting everybody and taking care of everybody with what they want and what they need. Now, I know that this is a message that a lot of people will think, oh, that's an easy thing. Self care is more than just taking care of how you look on the outside. Self care is your overall wellness. It means you mentally tapping in, it means you tapping in to what you need financially. It means taking care of your health, like getting your exercise, seeing your doctor, taking care of your overall well being. How are you eating? How are you drinking? Are you getting enough nutrients? So it's more than just taking care of ourselves here. And yes, this is very important. It's very important to tune in to how we are mentally. Yes, it's a very important part of us, but it's not the only part of us. We also have to think about how our money is looking, because we may be plugged into so many people and they're going to be wanting for us to shell out. Give me some money, give me some money, let me hold some money, let me do this for me or do that for me. And those are the type of people that we're going to be talking about today on the podcast, because very important discussion. Hi, Tamika. How are you doing? Happy new week. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for coming through and supporting me and this channel. Welcome to the podcast. Yes, it's important for us to unplug from others. So let me start off by my first point. It's very important for us as human beings, as grown women and grown men, to know our limits. Know your limits. And when I say that, a lot of people will think that my limit is yours and your limit is mine. No, it don't work that way. Knowing our limit means knowing what I personally need, what makes me okay. Everybody is going to be different, and we can't compare other people. You can't compare other women. You can't compare other women, other men. Every single individual is different. Every single person needs different things. And that's why it's so important for us to be aware of ourselves and know our own personal worth. Know your worth, everybody. Hi, Only Zone. How are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Happy Monday to you. And if you guys have not already, if you could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Um, yes, when we talk about unplugging from others, it means knowing our own personal limit. And that's something that you can only know that when you get to know yourself. When you get to know you, there is nobody that can step into the shoes and tell you how you should think, how you should feel, what you're going through. You know yourself. And that's a wonderful thing. I feel like that's one of the best gifts and blessings in this life, when you finally step into your own and you know yourself. You know what you want, you know what you need, you know what makes you happy, you know what makes you unhappy, and you know when something is not good for you. Part of knowing your limit means to tap into, your spirit. There's things that sometimes we know is not right about people, but we continue to say yes to them. We continue to allow people to take advantage of us, and we shouldn't. Hi, Miss Tracy. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Monday. Welcome to the podcast. We definitely have to know our limits. Know your limits, everybody. And I think it's very important when we talk about knowing your limits. In that is also setting personal boundaries. You got to know when you have had enough. You got to know the things that you want to sign up for and the things that you don't want to sign up for. And it doesn't make you a bad person for you to be the person that doesn't say yes all the time. Let me tell you something about the people who say yes all the time. Those are the ones that always get stuck being unhappy, stuck being miserable, stuck doing everything for everybody, stuck always being last on everybody else's list. And I will say those are usually people that they call the strong people, right? Quote unquote, your strong friends, your strong relative, your strong workmates, right? The ones that always are there. They're dependable. You're known to be a dependable person, a reliable person. But when are you going to learn about your own self reliance and tapping into you and saying, what am I doing? When's the last time I did something good and nice for myself? So that's something for us to think on, to meditate on, for us to pray on, for us to, get into our goals. Am I doing what I need to do for me? And every single one of us has to answer that question for ourselves because it's going to look different with every single person. Know your limit, know what you deserve, know what you are worth, and don't allow other people to tell you, because I will tell you something about this life. Friends, children, relative, workmates, the one you're in a relationship with, in all relationships, you must set boundaries. And I feel it's important to say that again. In every relationship, it's important to set boundaries, because if you don't set boundaries with people, then they're going to do whatever they want. They're going to walk over you, they'll take advantage of you, they'll do things you don't like. You have to be an advocate for yourself. And I definitely didn't understand that. I definitely didn't know that. Just not thinking that much of myself. I never thought that it was something that I should do, because I didn't grow up in that environment, seeing other women in my household take care of themselves and do things and say no. It was always, you said yes all the time because that's what you did when you were a good woman, or that's what you do when you're a good man. See, being taken advantage of, being a doormat, being the person always having to do all of the work and everybody else getting to sit back and relax. That's not good. And that means that we need to do some work on ourselves. We really do. You got to speak up for yourself, and you have to show people, when I say no, I mean it. And I'm not going to change my mind. And you're not going to make me feel guilty because I care about myself. You're not going to make me feel guilty because I love myself. You're not going to feel guilty because something is not important to you, but it's important to me. See, when we know what is important to us, we know when those lines have been crossed or when we have been disrespected. Okay. So, very important to unplug from other people so that we can recharge. And a part of that is definitely knowing your limits, knowing what you want, knowing what you deserve, knowing what you're about. And it's a journey. This thing called life is a whole journey where we have to, every day it's going to change. Sometimes you'll like certain things and sometimes you won't. It depends on how much rest you're getting. It depends on how your mental health is. It depends on how your finances are, to how you may be feeling for that day. But it's very important as grown women, as grown men, that we do not apologize. Be unapologetic about respecting yourself. Be unapologetic about setting those boundaries, and don't feel guilty because you need to put in some time into yourself. Don't feel guilty because you want to pour into you and take care of you. You want to guard your mental health. because you're taking care of your finances, because you're saying no, because you're not allowing yourself to be phony or fake and show up to things or be around people that you know you personally don't like. Knowing your personal limits shows how much you actually know yourself. Yes, everybody, to all you motivators, know yourself, love yourself, and allow yourself to have enough courage to say, I'm going to speak up for me. I'm going to set this limit. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, I don't want to be around this individual. I'm going to allow myself to get some rest, but I'm going to do what I need to do for me. Most of the time, we show up and we show out for everybody. We're the person that everybody can rely on. We're the one that everybody can trust. But who is doing that for you? Who is doing that for me? We definitely have to unplug from others. And most of the time, the people that we need to unplug from is the people who will are always demanding, not asking. It's one thing to ask, but it's another thing for those that are demanding. I demand you do this. And they're only allowing it to only be you as their support system, their support staff. But what happens to you when you're having those down days, when you are feeling discouraged, when you're feeling sad, when your mental health is not stable? We are the ones that have to speak up and advocate for ourselves. Hi, Texas Made Food. How are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for supporting. It's very important for us, every single person, no matter what role you're playing in this life, whether you're young or whether you're older, whether you're married, whether you're divorced, whether you're single, whether you have children, you don't have children, you're a grandma, you're auntie, you're uncle, you're a father, whatever role you're playing in this life, every single one of us has to know our limits. Okay. And you have to know what you like and you have to know what you don't like. And don't be ashamed to feel that way. Don't be embarrassed to feel that way. Let me tell you something, that when you speak up for yourself, when you start taking care of you, there are a lot of people who are going to be angry. There are a lot of people who are going to be upset when you finally make decisions that is centered on your well-being, that's centered on your focus, that's centered on you pouring back into yourself, working on your own lights, feeling good about you. Because if we don't speak up and advocate for ourselves, how many people are going to do that for us? So, with all of that being said, it's important for us to know who are those people who will constantly take and pull from us. So, usually the biggest category of people who take and pull our energy from us is relatives. Now, don't get me wrong. We always care about them, right? We care about our relatives, we love our relatives, but at the same time they can be irritating, nagging, stressful, right? All of those things. Realist one here in the building. How are you doing? Happy Monday. I appreciate your support. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being here and supporting this channel. I really do appreciate you all. And we got Sirius. How are you doing, Sirius? Welcome. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for your support. I hope all is well with you. Chilling with the realist, Mary B. How are you doing, Mary? I appreciate your support. I hope all is well with you and everybody in the chat. If you have not already, please hit the like. I'd really appreciate it. And share this out. I know that there are some that need to hear this message. Share, repost, tweet, all of those things. So, yeah, it's important for us to Know our limit, know your limitations. Now, knowing your limit doesn't make you a weak person. Knowing your limit means you know yourself. You know what you're capable of. You know what is important to you. Now, let me tell you a short little story about that. There was a period of time in my life where I was working two part-time jobs, taking care of a sick family member, doing. And I thought for sure, because I was doing so much for everyone, when I needed a break, when I needed my own time, I kind of went into having the expectation that I was going to be supported, that people would be understanding. Let me tell you what happened. When I finally made a decision that I was burning the candle at both ends, right? I was burning the candle at both ends. I wasn't doing what I needed to do for me. And when I finally decided to be an advocate for myself, and I'm going to speak up for me, I'm going to pour into myself, I'm going to start saying no. I made so many enemies during those times. I even had people tell me off, cuss me out, disrespect me, throw things in my face and say, you've never done anything for me because you're not available for me right now at this moment. And I tell this because people will use you as long as you allow. And we have to be, don't want to say smart enough, but we have to be aware enough. Um, we have to be aware enough to see when people really don't care about us. We have to be aware enough, and you have to be aware of certain relationships, certain people, of course, on the job. Most of the time, they don't care about you. Either you're going to be here and do the job, or you're not. But in other relationships, like with your friends, with your relative, with your support of love, whoever that may be, your mentors, your accountability partners, there are certain people that have a special place in your heart. Make sure that you're taking your time for you, because I have seen people give 20, 30 years into a marriage, in a relationship, give all of this time, 20, 30 years into a job, and something happens. And it could be anything. Something happens to them, and they just need 2 or 3 days off. There's no understanding. There's no compassion. None. There's none. So that's one of the reasons why we have to get into that planning. I'm not here to tell you what you should personally do in your life, everybody. I'm just here to motivate you and to start getting some of those wheels turning in your head. Have you thought about, what if I need a few days off? Do you have a little money put away, that if I need to not work for a month, that I can be okay? I can be all right by taking a break. I can afford the hit financially, and I won't go under. I won't get evicted. I won't lose my car. So try to have a little security, a little nest egg put on the side for your emergency fund, for your just in case, because we never know when one day something could happen. You get sick, maybe you get laid off, anything. I want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and we're okay, because let me tell you something. When you go through a hard time, when you go through some difficulties, and we think for sure, oh, I could ask this person, and no, and everybody's like, oh no, oh, I wish I could help you, but I can't. But you're the one that is always steady, opening up your wallet, dropping off everybody, giving everybody a ride, supporting them mentally, right? Supporting people you on your knees, or people you're praying for, taking care of everybody. But are you doing that same thing for yourself? Hmm. Are we doing the same things for ourselves that we are doing very freely and easily for others? It's just something to let it marinate. Let it marinate. Let you pause on it. Think about it. Think about it in your personal time, your private time, the things that I'm pouring out, the love, the energy, the support, the compassion I am giving to all of these people in my life. Am I receiving that love, that compassion, and that understanding back? If not, we may need to start doing some rethinking. Okay, rethinking so that we can be okay. Well, let me see what's happening here in the chats. Awesome, Texas made food. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you're doing good. Yes, it's so true. Yeah. Yeah, boy, I'm telling you, Mary, when you take time for yourself, it's like some people go to pieces like, oh, you're taking a day off. Oh, I didn't know you were going to take a day off. What are we going to do without you? Tough. There are some times where I believe 100%, even if I'm not as sick, quote unquote, on the job, some days you just need to take a mental health day from work and just relax and say, I can't do it. Today, I just want to relax and do that. And do that. Let your job learn to appreciate you, because when you're there all the time, when you're the reliable Betty or Jim, okay, when you're the reliable one, other people need to step up to the plate and do what they need to do too. That part. Don't let it all fall back on you, because let me tell you, when you burn out, all they're going to do is replace you. It sounds cold, it sounds heartless, but that's what it is. People will say, "Oh, we care about you. Oh, we love you so much." But let your bills be due. Let you get sick. Let you need some emotional support. Who is around? Who is around? Who is around? That's when you find out who really cares about you. Yes, thank you so much, Sirius. Really appreciate it. Yes, Sirius. Yeah, you need to have an emergency fund. Yes, cushion fund, Mary. So important. Yeah. They say 8 months worth. I'm trying my best to pad it until I could at least take 1 year, just in case. You never know. I always say the more the better. If all you can do is 3 months, then do that 3 months so that you know you'll be okay for 3 months. But try to, even if it's a little bit, because it doesn't have to be much. 15 cents throwing into your emergency fund, 20 cents. I have a thing on my account that I do a roundup. So every time I spend, say, like it's 68 cents, my account is going to round it up and take out $1 out of my account every time. It rounds it to the next, and that is my emergency fund. And you wouldn't believe, after a year, sometimes I'll have $2,000 or $3,000 just by 10 or 15 cents being rounded up. Just giving you a little bit of some ideas of what to do with your finances. Hi, Shay Love. How are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, everybody, hit the like button. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Texas Made Food. Let's see. The first time I had lunch alone, I was paranoid. Oh, wow. Yeah, Shay. Some when you get so used to being around a big crowd of people, you have to mm, I feel like sometimes you have to honestly relearn and ask yourself, what do I want? What do I need right now? And if you haven't asked yourself, what do I need right now? Am I okay? Am I good? And the only way that we can find out if we're good, if we're okay, is if we tap into ourselves, if we allow ourselves to be honest with ourselves. Yes, it is a lot of awesome channels in here. Let's see. Let's see. What did uh Shay says, I do the roundup also. Awesome. That's great. I'm glad you do too, Shay. James, how are you doing? James in the building. Welcome in. How are you doing? I hope you're doing amazing. Happy Monday to you. Uh, yes, it is awkward the first time. It really is, but you'll be okay. I had to learn, even doing like what they call like dating yourself, you know, taking yourself out for a lunch. For the first couple of times, it was kind of strange because you kind of get used to depending on other people to have a conversation, but enjoy your own company, you know? Enjoy your alone time, enjoy being out, you know? Detaching from social media, from your phone, and just live in the real world. People watch, smile, enjoy your personal time to make sure that you are okay. Now, let's get into point number 2, how we can unplug from others to recharge. Respect yourself. Yeah, everybody. Respect you as a woman. Respect yourself as a man. Respect your own thoughts, your own opinions. Know your worth. Know that you're valuable. And don't allow this life, don't allow other people to get you down. Don't allow what maybe you have in the bank or the situation you're in or being in a relationship or the lack thereof mean that you are valueless. You are not a summation of what you have financially. That money does not equate to who you are. Who you are is here, and how you treat people, your personality. That's what makes you you, your spirit, your soul. What do you give to other people? How do you make other people feel? What gift do you have? What talent do you have? And a lot of times we don't know of our own personal talents and gifts because we get so busy, wrapped up in supporting and helping people who don't care about us, who don't care about me. Hmm. And it's hard to believe that. We don't want to believe that people don't care about us. We don't want to believe that people don't support us. We don't want to believe that people don't like us. But the actions tell us, the support tells us, the way they talk to you shows it. But we're the ones that have to, when somebody shows us who they are, we have to take it at face value. We got to believe it. It may not always be what we want. It may not always be what we like, but it is what it is. Don't blame yourself for that. Okay. Don't blame yourself because other people aren't a good person or don't value you or don't respect you or don't encourage you. That's our job as grown women and grown men. We got to respect ourselves. And it's a challenge because we're always bombarded. There's always people who are disrespectful, rude. And it's usually the people that we know, the people that you're close to. They'll take advantage of you. They'll play games with you as long as you let them. As long as you let them. See? And that's where the unplugging comes in. Anytime somebody disrespects you, somebody is not like showing gratitude for you, not showing appreciation, the acting thankless, like you have to do it for me and have some sort of attitude. And what are you doing? And why aren't you here? Hey, careful with that energy. Careful how you come at me. Okay? Don't let people, well, even when people are going through things and maybe don't feel good, maybe they're not well mentally, but don't let them and whatever they're going through be an excuse for you to be a doormat, for people to wipe their feet on you, to discard you, to treat you like you're, yesterday's news. No. No, we won't allow that. No, we're not allowing that. Don't let other people disrespect you. Let me see. I know I missed a whole lot of comments. I almost said kumats. What is that? Let's see. What did I miss? What did I miss? Okay. Let me see. Let me see. What did I miss? Okay. I'm scrolling up. Lots of comments here. Okay. I think I was here. And I see Nate, the great podcast, in the building. How are you doing, Nate? Welcome. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for supporting. And everybody, check out my awesome mods, my channel members. If you see somebody in here that you appreciate their channel, go check it out and see if it's for you. Those are the best dates now, the me time dates. Yes. And it doesn't always have to be, going to a spa. Taking yourself to get whatever kind of food that you like, chilling at the library, chilling outdoors, going to the park, the movies, going dancing, doing something that you personally like, going fishing. But do you. Don't wait for other people to spend time with you. Spend time with you. I just finished cooking fried cabbage andouille, sausage shrimp with Creole seasonings. That sounds delicious, James. I hope you enjoy your food. Let's see. Shay says 100. That's right. Our personality is what makes us. Yeah, and don't let other people think that there's something lacking inside of us. I used to do that all the time. When I didn't value myself, when I didn't love myself, I always would devalue myself when somebody didn't like me, when somebody didn't understand me, or when I was going through something, or somebody didn't support me, or if I didn't have the things that I needed. I always felt insufficient and lacking. And you're not. Whoever needs to hear that you're not lacking. It's just life happens to us sometimes. Pain happens to us. Disappointment happens to us, but we got to move on and we'll be okay. You will be okay, but you got to know yourself. Got to know your worth. I know that's right, Mary. Let's see what I missed. Yes, definitely. Yes, Mary. It's important. It's so important for us to take care of ourselves, and takes time to unplug, but it's possible. No hard feelings, just protecting our energy. Yeah, and you have to. Like what people don't understand is when you take those breaks so that you can fill up your cup, so you can refill, so that you can be okay mentally, emotionally, financially, because you got to take care of your bills. Bills don't stop coming, problems don't stop coming, but you got to make sure that you're in a space to where you can handle it. And sometimes you got to pull back from people. You got to unplug from the negativity. You got to unplug from the drama. You got to unplug from certain individuals. You got to distance yourself. You got to block yourself from certain people so that you can be okay. And let me say this, sometimes my energy will be off. Sometimes I'll feel really low, but it's because I'm an empath. I'm a person that I'm very sensitive to how other people feel. And I feel like people will take my energy and my light from me. I'm not getting it back. So I always not be like, I need to sleep in today. I need to do this. I need to take care of my hair, my teeth, my nails, my this, my that, whatever I need at the moment. And I gotta learn to do more of that for me, going for my walk, hitting the gym. It's not always about the outside that we gotta take care of. Oh, I'm about to go there. Y'all ready? It's not always the outside that we need to take care of. Sometimes on the inside, we're sick. On our inside. Because sometimes the things that we are carrying, we are handling, we are carrying on our back, on our head, is too much. It's too much. And other people, they look at you and they think everything is okay with us. They think everything is okay with you because you may not look like your circumstance. You may not look like your struggle. You may not look like your storm. But God. That's all I can say. But God. But true friends, but peace of mind, but self-worth, but discernment, protecting your energy, all of those things help you to come back into being okay once again. Once again, I always say that you can be down, but don't stay down. Message. That's a message for somebody. It's okay to be down. There are times where you definitely need to be down. When you break up with somebody that or somebody hurts you, you lost a job, you lost a pet, when there's some sort of loss, when there's some sort of your life is not moving along, when you feel like you're stuck, there are times where you should be sitting and thinking and meditating and asking yourself some deep questions. Why am I going through this? Is this a me problem? Am I the one causing this? Or is this outside of me? Is this just my life? I don't know. But you got to ask yourself some questions and then have enough courage to accept it and say, I need to either get up or I need to sit down. Depending on the situation. Sometimes we're doing too much, and then other times we are not doing enough. Message. Sometimes we're not doing enough. Let's be honest and real. Sometimes we get lazy. We lack the motivation. We get discouraged. We get sad. We are disappointed. People getting on our nerves. The amount of stress. Your kids are tripping. Your spouse is tripping. Boyfriend, girlfriend, tripping. People are tripping. The bills keep coming. But you still got to do this thing called life, right? You still got to live. See, and it's a difference in this life. It's a difference between going through life and enjoying your life. Every single day, yeah, you can get up and do this and rinse and repeat. Every day you got things that you got to do, or you can go through your life and live in the moment and say, wow, look at that. What a beautiful sunset. That's a completely different life than somebody who just gets up and I got to go and they're rushing through life and they never take a moment and pause. They never take a moment and thank people and show appreciation and tell people in their life that matter to them. You matter to me. I appreciate you. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for how you fill me up when I'm empty. I appreciate you. That's what's important. See, a lot of times the reason why we may need to unplug is maybe you are lacking in showing appreciation and gratitude to other people. And when we do that, when we're not appreciating the people who are important to us, they pull back from you and say, you don't respect me. You don't appreciate me. You're not grateful for me. So if you don't care, either do I. You got to realize that too. A lot of times we get off balance We're so focused on grinding. I gotta get my money. You gotta get the bag. Yes, I get it. Believe me, everybody, believe me. I get it. I know it. I understand it. You got to take care of you. You got to take care of your bills. You got to take care of your family. You got to take care of your life. But at the same time, you got to be well enough here. You got to be well enough in your spirit, your soul. Your soul has to be okay too. Whew. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're not. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard because you have to appear all the time to be strong. You have to appear to have it all together. You can't have your moments of weaknesses. You can't be vulnerable because people will clown you. You got to make sure you have people in your life that you can have a soft place to fall. You got to have people you can be vulnerable. You got to have people to say, I'm messed up right now, or I messed up, or this person is doing me wrong and I feel this way. You got to have people that you can lean on. Don't try to do this life all on your own. Don't do it. And if you're doing it, stop it. You got to have support either from above, either from within. You got to have what you're reading, what you're looking at, what you're getting entertained by, who you're associating with, and what you're doing in your real time to recharge yourself. Yeah, it's nice to unplug. It's refreshing, and you got to do it. You got to do it. Yes, Shay, when life happens, when life happens, when life happens, and we can't stop life from happening. We really can't. Awesome, Mary. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's so important that when life is happening, you know, whew, when life is happening, don't feel guilty because you need to say, this is too much for me to process. Allow yourself the time to be like, this is a lot. And right now, I'm not okay. It's okay to not be okay. But when in that time where you're not okay and you need to unplug, make sure that you have people actually that you can lean on and to say, you can put your head on their shoulder. You can support them. It's people who will stand in the back, stand in the gap for you until you're okay. That will be your support system that will hold you up and to say, you can lean on me. I got you. I got you until you're all right. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's a blessing. It's an honor. And make sure you're appreciating those people. Make sure you are appreciating those people. Hey, puzzle pieces, how are you doing? Welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Hey, I am Tracy Lee. Welcome. How are you doing? Good to see you. I hope all is well. Thank you so much for your support. And to everybody, if you have not already, please hit that like. Yes. Yes, it is. Life be lifing. Yes, it does. It does. And I tell people all the time, just because I'm a motivator, just because I encourage people, just because I inspire others, just because I try to put out positive out there, it does not mean that I sometimes have those crazy thoughts. I got to shed those tears because I'm a human being, because I breathe, because I feel I feel hurt. I feel sadness. I feel discouragement. But the whole thing about it is that I don't let myself stay there. And you as well. Don't let yourself stay in a dark space. It's just as simple as sometimes just saying, I, I'm not in a good space. Hello? Hey, I'm not doing good today. So I need some support. I need some encouragement. I need some, let's hang out. Let's do something. Just as simple as that. But we have to be so in touch with our own energy, in touch with our spirit, in touch with our soul. Maybe sometimes you're not connecting. See, sometimes maybe you need to get on your knees. Get on your knees. I'm not ashamed to say I sometimes I gotta get on my knees and I gotta say this is too much for me. I can't carry this one. I can't do this. I can't. Because there are some things that we're not meant to do. There's some things you're not meant to do. There are some things that's a God problem. That's your higher power problem. It's too much for you. Or that's something that you need to go and talk to a friend. You got to go and talk to somebody else that can handle it, somebody else that's going to encourage you and lift you up. See, we may not always be good here, and it's all right. It's all right when we're not good here. It's okay. It's okay. But when you're not okay, do you have enough courage to say it? Do you say it out loud? I'm not okay. No, no, no. No, no, no. I'm not okay today. And do you have enough courage to admit it to yourself instead of trying to put on this persona and being, oh, smiling? Oh, yeah, everything's good. I'm good. And when you know you're not, have enough courage to say, I'm not. Have enough courage to say, I'm not. Okay. And then make sure that you're tapping into the mentors, your counselors, your accountability partners, people who care about you and will support you in the meantime. There are sometimes that time period may be a long time. I can say I needed my loved ones through my dark period for almost 17 months when I lost my father, and then 7 months later I lost my mother. There is no pain like losing your parents. I think the only thing close to losing your parents is losing a child. There's nothing that can prepare you for it. There's nothing that will ever fill it. It's always going to be empty inside of you until you find a purpose, a reason, a passion to fill it up again. And I say that with love, and I say it with experience. Don't try to ignore the holes we have on the inside. Don't ignore them. Don't ignore them. You're valuable, you're special, and you are somebody. And when you are feeling a certain way, validate those feelings. Validate it. Okay? And it means that you got to be courageous enough. Sometimes you got to shed those tears. Sometimes you got to be mad. Sometimes you scream if you have to. Sometimes you write it, journal it out. Sometimes I put notes in my phone. Sometimes I got to read. I have to actually read and remind myself of certain things. Sometimes I got to get into the word. Depends on the situation. But every single person needs support. Please don't try to do this thing called life on your own. Don't. Okay? Don't. Yes, take a break to recalibrate your thoughts. Amen, serious. We do, because like, have you ever felt like your mind is racing? It's going a million miles an hour and it won't slow down because you're under so much pressure, you're under so much stress, and you feel like you got a million people tugging you at all angles. Hey, I need you, I need you, I need you. And from every direction, from in front, from the side, and from behind you. Come on, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. Ooh, it's too much. It's too much. And that's when you got to say, shut down mode. We're shutting down, and it's time for me to unplug from everybody so that I can be okay. And I hate to bring it to a negative space, but I have to be the voice of the voiceless, because I know I've been there when I haven't been mentally stable, and I've ignored it, and I pretended, and I put on this persona, and yeah, well, yeah, I'm doing good, and I know I'm dying inside. No, I don't do that anymore. And I don't want you to do that if you're doing it too. Don't fake it. Don't fake it. Let yourself shed those tears. Let yourself have those downtimes, and let yourself be who you are. Be who you are, and be it courageous enough to say, this is how I feel, this is what I'm going through, and I'm going to let myself feel that. Hey, Sugar Love, how are you doing? Welcome. Let yourself feel that. Yeah. Yes, you have to unplug, Sugar Love. You have to. You have to. Thank you, Realist. Appreciate it. Let's see. Thank you so much, Sirius. I only say this because I wanted to say to you guys that I'm a real woman. I have problems. I have difficulties. I've been through painful things. I've been through traumas. I get mad. I want to do things. I want to get back at people, but I don't. But I don't. I don't let the negativity on the outside come inside here. And that's where that unplugging, that's where the filling up your cup, that's where in the reminder, reminding myself, if you don't have it already, this is a big suggestion that I have for each and every one of you. Is something that has changed my life. Get yourself a notebook and write in that notebook the things about you that is going to be that recharge, that boost, that shot in the arm that you need. Tell yourself, because you know your struggle, you know what you've been through. And it's so important for you to pick up a book sometimes and remind yourself, remember when you went through this? Remember when you went through this hill? Remember when you went through this valley? And then you're still here. And then I get energized. I get excited. I want to jump up and down and say, I'm still here. I'm still doing this thing called life. I didn't give up. I didn't throw in the towel. Even the people who want you to. Let me tell y'all something. There are people right now who are looking at you on today. People that you actually know in real time. Being fake, phony, in your face, giving fake support. They don't like you. They don't care about you. They're just using you. They're just, as long as you can fulfill a purpose, as long as you can give them money, as long as they can use your body sexually, as long as whatever it is, whatever reason or purpose that they have, as long as you're giving them the things that they want and need, they're going to stick around. Period. Let it be the moment you say no. Let it be the moment you can't give them that, pay that bill, or you stop giving them their sexual desires. Look, now you're gonna really find out who they are. I know I'm talking to somebody. Yes, my spirit said tell them. My spirit said tell them. Stop letting people use you. Stop laying up with people that you know are not gonna want to be in a relationship with you. They're just using you for your body. They're using you for your finances. They're using you, period. Stop letting people use you and unplug. Respect yourself. Know your worth. You don't have to do that. There's somebody in real time right now who would treasure you, love you, and respect you. Don't settle. Mm-mm. We're not settling over here, motivators, are we? Nope. That's when you say, girl or boy, bye. Bye. Because if you don't know about me, if you don't know about my power, if you don't know about my light, if you don't know about my energy, if you don't know who I belong to, I feel sorry for you. Hmm. There's a lot of people that they look at you, and they don't believe in you. They don't believe in your power. They don't believe in your light. They don't believe in your intellectual capacity. Hmm. They also don't know about what has been downloaded inside of you from God. Every single one of you, every single one of you has talents and gifts. Every single one of you. But will you have enough courage to believe in that power, in that light? Will you have enough courage to stand up for yourself and to say no and believe it and not feel guilty? I will not apologize for loving myself. I will not apologize for having values. I will not apologize for loving myself. I'm not in that space. See, I used to be in that headspace where I was only as good as what they thought. I was only as good as their evaluation of me. But then I learned about self respect. Then I learned about confidence. Then I got introduced to my own talent and I tapped into that thing. And I was like, see, a lot of times we think we need people. Message. Sometimes we think we need people in our life, and actually, it's the other way around. You don't need them at all, they need you. Marinate on that one, everybody. I'll wait. Yep. Yep. Okay. Cool. It marinated. Okay. We have to let other people respect us. But first, you got to respect yourself. Respect yourself. Okay? Is a loss that we never recuperate from, but we can learn to live with it. Amen, puzzle pieces. Amen. Yes, Tracy Lee. Spirit told me to turn on my camera and talk, and I'm obedient. Hey, Rachel, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Yes, serious. We all, and that's the thing that's one of the things that irk me sometimes is that people want to walk around with their nose up in the air. They want to walk around or act like they are better than you. They don't know about your struggle. They don't know about your burden. They don't know what you're carrying. They don't know what you're dealing with. They don't know your power and your light and where you're going. They don't know. They don't appreciate you. They don't deserve you. And that means they got to go. See, we got to stop holding on to people who never will appreciate us. We can't keep holding on to people and they don't appreciate you. They don't appreciate your light, your energy, your knowledge. It's people who don't appreciate what you've been through. See, you may look at another person and you think, nothing special. And there's so many special things inside of that person. See, we sometimes just have to be vulnerable enough and just sit back and listen. Listen to another person's story. I always say when I feel down and I feel low, the best thing that I can do to recharge myself is to give back. See, when I feel like sometimes, I don't have much. And let me tell you, when I open up my hand, even if it's $1, and I just give it to somebody and bless somebody else. It doesn't have to be much. You don't have to do big, grand deeds in front of everybody, but a little kind, small deed. Even calling up somebody and tell them you love them. Calling up somebody and say, I forgive you, even though I don't have to. I forgive you because I love me. Don't let anybody take your power away. And when we don't forgive ourselves, when we don't forgive other people, they take the power and they keep it. And they keep it. Don't let people keep your power, hold you back from your light and your energy and your focus. See, we lose our focus a lot of times. We lose our focus. We get off track from what we should be doing because we're so mad. Man, I'm mad. I'm pissed off. I'm angry. They did this. How could they do this to me? Let's have a piece of humble pie, everybody. But what have we actually done to others as well? How many people have you hurt? How many people have you disappointed? I always like to circle back to that anytime where I have a struggle forgiving other people. I remember, remember when you did this? Oh yeah. Remember when I did that? Oh yeah. Remember when you were unkind? Remember? Yeah. So forgiveness is not because we're happy with what they did. No. You're not excusing the wrong. No. You don't like what they did. No. I'm not saying that either. But you love yourself. You love your light and you love what is to come. Message. Because what is to come for you until you learn how to heal that, you can't have these bigger and better things. And it's here. It's waiting for you. That gift, that blessing is right here. But all you have to do is walk through forgiveness. Walk through and forgive them. Even when it hurts, even when we don't want to, forgive them. Let it go. It's not up to us for the reason why people do what they do. All that we have to do is forgive people and not forgive them and keep them in your life. No, I don't mean that. We're not going to be a doormat. We're not stupid. We're not foolish. No. Forgive people and move on from them so that you can go after your light, your gift, your blessing, your focus, what is ahead for you. That was a soup served up hot. Yes, amen. Hey, Liz, how are you doing? Welcome. Yes, Tracy. I have to. I was obedient to the Spirit. It told me. It said, speak today. And I said, yes, I will. Yes, spiritual vampires. And they will take everything. They will take everything. Listen, people will take everything from you. People will take away your confidence. People will take your money. People will take every single thing from you. When I say if you let them. Don't let them. Don't let people get into that little bubble. You know, I always talk about my bubble, my force field. There's certain things that that can't penetrate. The things that you know is true about you, those are the things that you keep in that bubble. Everything on the outside, everything negative, everything evil, everything wicked, you keep that on the outside. We can't stop what is happening on the outside. We can't stop people who make poor choices or are hurtful or disrespected or jealous or evil. We can't do anything about it. But what we can do is focus our mindset. How do I choose to think about me? How do I show up? How do you show up, motivators? How do you show up every day? Do you show up head up, chin up? Do you show up with love, care, concern, positivity, inspiration? We're the only ones that can do that. All I can do is say these words, give the knowledge, but it's up to us to let it penetrate in here, in our heart, in our spirits, and let our energy rise. Let our vibration rise. High vibes only. That's the only thing we have time for. This thing called life, it's too short. It's too short to stay in the negative. It's too short to be around people who are the backbiting, the user. No. When you find out people are that way, you got to stay over there. Even your own relative. You can love people, but you can love them from a distance. I love you, but I can't deal with you. You got, yeah. You got to stay over there. No. I can't take your phone call. And when they ask you why, tell them the truth. I love you, but you're toxic. I love you, but you're a user. I love you, but you don't support me. Woo! I'm hurting feelings today. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yeah. People really don't like when we tell the truth. People, they get mad. Oh, you think you're better? No, I don't think I'm better. I'm just telling the truth. See, when we tell the truth, it's not a pill that people like to swallow. It's not something that people want to hear, or they say you're being very aggressive, right? Who got that before? Yeah. You're very aggressive. Oh, I'm aggressive because I tell the truth. Okay. I'm okay with that. Stay out of my life. Don't come at me with negativity. And no, I don't want to hear about things that is negative, things like talking bad about people. I don't want to be in a circle or be around people who are only talking about negativity, drama, and foolishness. If it's not about awareness and light and positivity, I don't want to hear it. It's not that it doesn't exist. I know it's all around me. I see it all the time. But I got to protect myself. I got to protect my spirit. I got to protect my mindset. I got to protect what I choose to pour my time into. And if people are wasting your time, who's the one that has to change that? That part. Did I miss a comment from Sirius? Okay. Sirius says, Marlene, I took my power back from the ungrateful people I was supporting financially and emotionally. When I tell you, when you get your power back, I can feel it in my spirit. I can feel the angels around me, and I can feel them celebrating. I can feel my ancestors and everybody dancing. I feel it. My spirit rises when people finally tap into their own worth, when they stand up for themselves, when they don't allow themselves to be disrespected. Your spirit rises, your vibration rises. You start walking around with a smile on your face, and it may intimidate some people. Other people may not like you. Actually, people will hate you the more that you stop dimming your light, the higher your light. And I had an amazing mentor. God rest her soul. And she filled me up in a way that nobody ever has on this earth. And she told me something, and she said, baby, don't be afraid to shine your light brightly. It's not always going to be people who are going to like your light. It's not always going to be people who are going to like you, who are going to want to be around you. There are people who are going to try to sabotage, slow down, stop, block, disrespect, anything to get you to stop doing what you're supposed to do. And that's where you know your worth. That's where you're aware. That's where discernment comes in. That's where you pay attention to how somebody is in front of you and behind your back. So I celebrate all you motivators who have the power, have the courage, have the discernment to believe in you. I celebrate you. I am so proud of each and every one of you. Every single one. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yes, you messed around and found out that you were enough. I did. I did. And so do you. I hope it for you all. I hope it. I pray it. I manifest it. Every single thing wonderful and great. Speak it over your life, because let me tell you something. The things that you say out of your mouth, thoughts become actions. Thoughts become actions. So the more you start telling yourself, I'm whatever it is that you say, I am this, there's nobody that can stop you from becoming that. The more that you can see and visualize yourself living the life that you want, it comes to you, starts being drawn to you like a magnet. You got to have enough courage to live in that life. Okay? It takes courage. Yes, it does. This life is not for the faint of heart. It's not. It really isn't. Hey, Tony T, how are you? Welcome. My kindness was taken for weakness. I allowed them to manipulate me into thinking that they were really there for me, to find out I was their bank and doormat. You know, serious. I've been there, done that. I probably should have got a t-shirt. The moment you stop being there to be the handout, to be the ride, to be the person that they can just talk to and be there and show up for them, but is it being reciprocated? And if not, gotta go. Gotta block them. You do. You do. You do. I'm so happy for you, Sirius, and I'm so happy for everybody. I forgave, but it was one of the hardest things I needed. And that's right. And I'm glad you said that, Sirius. It's something that you needed to do. And I can feel like sometimes that I don't want to, right? I don't want to forgive. Most of the time we don't want to. We want to harbor that resentment. We want to be angry. We want to get back. I got to do something to get them back for what they did to me. Don't lower your vibration. You're better than that. You deserve more than that. You do. Let them continue to be who they are. Everything that is done in the dark will always, when I say always, I mean in caps, will always come to the light. There's no way that a person that does wrong to you or to others that is going to get away with it forever. We may not always get to see it, but every person has to suffer the consequences of what they have done to others. Every single one. You are the king or queen of your life. Don't let nobody take your crown. Period. James coming in with a gem. Yes, James. Yes, James. Not everyone that rides with you is for you. Facts. Come, y'all gonna make me pin every single one of these comments. If I was on YouTube, I would pin every single comment, but I'm in StreamYard, so I can't. But yeah. Mhm. Good evening to you, Eastad. How are you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. How are you doing? Yes, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Okay, I'm about to pin them. Pin them. I'm gonna see if I can pin them. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Now I'm gonna pin it. I pinned the first one. Okay. Uh, I'm going to let that stay for a little while and I'll come back and I'm going to pin Sirius's comment. Okay. So let me go into the next point. I got one more point after this one and then I'm going to put the link in the chat. Okay. Unplug from others to recharge yourself. Now, this is such a big one, such a great one, everybody. Protect your mental health. We really don't understand how significant, how important that is. But when we're not coping with life so well, maybe you're having some dark thoughts. That's not good for you. We have to be very careful of who we're around, of who we listen to, or who we allow to penetrate our mind with their manipulation. They're using their dark thoughts. They're just using in general, that sort of thing. The people who use it, it just takes so much out of us. Ooh, just the takers, just I can't take it. I can't stand it. But we got to protect our mental health. And if we don't do it, who's going to do it? We have to do it for ourselves. You have to do it for yourself. Love yourself enough to say, not answering the phone, not going out. I'm going to take a few days off work. I'm going to take that vacation. I'm going to do something for me, whether you're a mom, a dad, an auntie, a grandma, a cousin, a brother, a sister, a friend, a workmate. Protect your mental health. And you got to know what that is. I'm not saying what Marlene needs is what you need. No, everybody is different. Everybody wants and needs different things, but we definitely have to protect our mental health. Okay, I'm about to put the link here in the chat because I got one last point. Okay. All right. Let me paste it. All right. So there's the link. Now, let me see. I got one last point, and then if anybody comes up, if not, we're going to get up out of here. The last point here. So in unplugging from others to recharge ourselves, we have to understand, and I want everybody in the sound of my voice to understand this most important point. You can't make everyone happy, and you are not okay. You can't. You can't make everybody happy. You can't make your kids. You can't make siblings. You can't make other relatives. You can't make the job. You can't make the spouse, significant other, friends. You can't make everybody happy, and you're not. You have to be okay first. You have to be all right. Okay, everybody? First, you got to be okay. First, you have to be okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So that's one thing about this life is we spend so much time and energy making everybody happy, making your parents, relatives, friends, workplace, everybody's happy. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, but am I? Sit in that and marinate on that when you have some time later on, when you're in your alone time. Am I happy? And then if not, get to the solution to find out why you're not. We have to be the one, we have to be courageous enough to say, I'm not okay, and then do something about it. Okay. So let me remove this banner, and I see Miss Nexie here in the background. Let's welcome Miss Nexie to the show.
Hello, Marlene. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just dealing with a lot of water. It's been raining for the past, I will say, almost
Mhm.
3 days. But doing good, listening to the wonderful message you're delivering. I feel that a lot of us needed this today, and I appreciate it very, very much, by the
Oh,
way.
thank you so much. So,
And and you have great points. The one thing that I had to, not me per se, like I didn't struggle when I started, getting to know who I was and what I wanted out of life and everything when I was younger. And I started therapy. I started realizing that I I grieve and I work on my issues, whatever it is that I have
mhm,
going on, better on my own in
mhm,
solitude, right? And a lot of times I will tell people, when they will like ask me, like, what do you think about this? What should we do? And I will say, just leave me alone. Like, give me a couple of days. I'll call you back. And they will continue to call me. And I wouldn't answer the phone or I wouldn't open the door and they would get upset and whatever. But what I wanted to say is that eventually my persistence of saying, don't bother me for the next 2 to 3 days, let me marinate, like you say, let
yep,
me sink in, let me find out what the best way to deal with this is, leave me alone. Once they started seeing that I was not answering the phone, I was not answering those texts, I was not
mhm,
opening that door, it took them a long time to get it that it was not going to go anywhere they wanted it, that they were going to have to respect what I was just saying. Leave me alone. Let me deal with this on my own. So now, years later, of course, now they understand. When I tell them, you know what, just give me a few days. They don't bother me. They don't call me. They don't do anything until I emerge again and let them know exactly how I feel or what I think
mhm,
the solution should be. A lot of us have relatives that are a little bit hard headed and
mhm,
feel entitled to our time, right? To our answers right away, to whatever it is that we have that they need. They feel entitled to that. So you have to pretty much educate them and say, no, 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 no. This is, you have to respect what I just said, which is probably one of the hardest things we will have to do because they want to be, the center of attention. They want everything at their time, not yours. But putting
exactly.
those things in place, Marlene, and everything you're saying right now brings a lot of peace of mind, by the way. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that, Nexie. Sometimes when I'm here on my platform and I say, I'm just saying what I'm feeling at that moment. I never rehearse. I never have notes. I just talk from personal experience and things I'm dealing with and whatever. So I wonder sometimes, like, does it touch anybody? Is it resonating with anybody? Like like I don't know. Am I reaching the audience the way that I need to? As content creators, I think everybody questions, am I, am I reaching people? But this, you're saying that is confirmation, and that helps me a lot. Thank you.
Actually, I have a little bit more that I have to say to you, and I hope Rachel's still here with us.
Mhm.
But she actually gave us a lot of kudos yesterday on Nate's live. And Rachel, thank you very, very much for everything that you said about Marlene and I, and the team that we are. And I'm gonna add the powerhouse that we are.
Mhm.
And the fact that we have reached one person at least that we know of, which is you, an amazing girl and content creator as well, amazing woman, really. That on itself is very gratifying. And I just wanted to say that, Marlene, because it's not just me, it's a lot of people out there that appreciate everything that you do, and it reaches them, which is why I wanted to say this right now. But it makes a difference when you hear somebody else that has the same issue you do talking about it on a live, and you're like, oh my god, was she here? Does she have a camera in my house? Is she
Mhm.
listening to me? Does she have like those bugs? Remember when they used to put those bugs on your phone that the government could hear? Well, a lot of people go through this. A lot of us go through this, and it's always good to know that you're not alone when it comes to these issues. You have a very passionate woman here, letting us know that we're not alone, that a lot of us go through all of these hardships, that a lot of us sometimes have a day where we just want to cry. We just want to be alone. We just want to let it all out. We don't need an audience for that. And that's when, the putting that boundary, those barriers around us to say, hey, let me have this day. I need it. I need solitude, or I need just to cry today. No questions, no nothing, no input. Just leave me alone, and have them respect it, which is sometimes, what I'm trying to say is the hardest thing, is to have them respect what you're asking them.
Mhm. But one of the things that what I had to learn to do is I'm definitely a person, I will ghost people. But whenever my energy is off, I'm like, nope. I just
Mm-hmm.
turn off my phone, and everybody will like, that scares people. So for me, I had to learn to tell people I'm going off grid. I just need to marinate. I just need to be alone. I'm okay. I'm okay. Don't
Mm.
worry, but you're not going to hear from me for like 3 days. All right.
Yeah.
So because before I would just go ghost for 3 days, and for some people they'll think, oh, you don't care about me, you don't love me, and it has nothing to do with other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's about yourself, and having enough courage to say, well, I know I'm sinking, and I'm gonna save myself.
Exactly. But I'm that way too, Marlene. I ghost people.
Mhm.
Those that know me already and that understand me know that when I'm doing that, they're like, oh, she's probably working on something. She's probably dealing with something that she needs to work it
Mhm.
on her own. She doesn't need our help. It needs to be done by herself. So I don't even tell people, when I'm what I'm going through. I just need to work it out. And I tell you after I've already worked on the thing. And I say, I was
Mhm.
going through this and I needed this. So, I'm not even that, ooh, Marlene, you're teaching me something. I gotta be kinder when it comes to that.
Yeah, and Nexie, don't get me wrong. Everybody doesn't get that privilege. You get that privilege when you're important to me.
Oh,
If you're
thank
not
you.
important to me, I won't say nothing to you. I just go silent. Like, where's Marlene? Where's Marlene? Oh, yeah. But when I tell you, like, I'm going off grid for 3 or 4 days or a week, I'll tell you I'll be back on the 14th or 15th or whatever it is, and then be like, okay, and then be like, you're okay. I'm cool. I'm cool. If I wasn't, I would tell you. I just need some me time. So
Mm,
I've learned that in my personal growth, that if you're going to go off grid, at least inform people, because there's people who care about us.
That is the one thing I need to learn.
Mhm.
Because I just go off, and I know that that people love you, and they want to make sure that you're okay. But sometimes all that attention, I've said this to you before, I don't
Mhm.
like that. I run away
Mhm.
from all that praise or attention, or even at work when people are like, "Great job," I'm like, "Oof, I
Yeah,
had to
run,
go."
run.
I had to go, although, I'm happily, because I'm such a wealthy woman, I'm happily retired. But it's something that I have to, come to terms on how I'm going to do this moving forward, because like I said before, I just ghost people. And the ones that know me understand it, but new friendships may not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I have to learn to say I need time. No questions asked, just I need time.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they will get that it has nothing to do with them, right? Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
but I need to start working on my deliverance of the message, because
Mm-hmm.
I ghost, and then sometimes when I either see them on the streets or call them, they're acting kind of like some kind of way, like weird, like, oh, now you want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I have to learn to probably say something like, I need a few days. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll learn to do that.
I know, I know. I'm like, my spidey sense is tingling. I think she needs a break. And then I hurry up and do it. I was like fast. I was like, okay, I'll call. I'm like, okay. I said, is that all the people? Yep. And then, then I go off grid. Like my phone turns off everything. When I say I go under, there's nobody that can reach me.
And some that is a very good thing to do, because sometimes when you are not in a good space, not in a good place, you can hurt people because you're snappy, right? You're like,
Yep.
oh my God, really? Again, you're going through this? Like, how many? So you can hurt others when you're not in
Mhm.
a good space. So it's better to, to deal with it the best way you can so that you don't hurt others.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to work.
Yeah.
But there's so many good points in the comments, Marlene. There were so many great comments,
Yes. Yeah.
of everything that you were saying, because a lot of us are there. A lot of us are in
Mhm.
that particular space right now, and or have been there. And it's good to know that, others that are close to us go through it without us even knowing it. You know what I mean? And it's good that we have a reference point and that we're bringing this up, because um, the one thing I don't like, I never liked, Marlene, and I don't like, is that when people will say, "Oh, but you're the mom or you're the wife. You're supposed to be there for everything they need." That
Mhm.
will freak me out when I was a young, bride, or a young mom, and I will
Mhm.
hear the elders telling me that I had to be. That on itself will freak me out, because I will think, "What if I'm not? I don't want to be there." So I have to
Mhm.
make myself, and that will stress me out. But it's because you're the woman, you're the mom, and it never makes sense to me that, well, I'm their mom, yeah, I'm the wife, yes, I'm a woman, yes, but why do I always have to be there?
Yeah.
Where's the manual book? Where's
You,
the policy book that says that?
you know what next to you know what I had to learn? And it
Mhm.
was it took me a long time to learn this lesson. I had to learn that I had to have enough courage, and it takes a lot of it. I had to have enough courage to be able to stand in my own shoes and to say, this is what Marlene does. This is what Marlene likes. And that's it. And not apologize for it and not feel guilty. I always say, if you don't like how I'm doing things, then you do it. Then you do it. If you don't like it, then you do it. I had to learn to stop being so upset and angry and getting myself involved in things that wasn't a me problem. That's them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the comment Rachel put down.
Yeah. Yep. They call me a doctor because I see people for 5 minutes and that's it.
We should all be doctors, because we're
Yeah.
like, we're done.
Yeah.
I
Okay. I'm good. What do you? I'm like, what do you want? Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's like I think the older that you get, like your level of what you can deal with, your level of foolishness, it gets higher. Like, okay, get to the point. Cut. I was like, okay, cut to the chase. Okay, what is it? All right. Yeah. No, I don't.
and
No, I'm not
I'm so
gonna.
happy you brought that up, because you know how we have that family member or that friend that we know is going to take about 15 minutes or so to
Mhm.
get to the point of that the point that she or he was trying to make, and they go on and on days that I'm not feeling my like well, that I'm not all there, that I don't like, I'm about to explode. When
Mhm.
I see those people, I run. Or
Mhm.
I'll call you later. You know what? Hold that thought. I'll get back to you in a minute. And I go because I know that I don't have the patience in that moment to allow them the time that
Mhm.
they need to speak about, their problem or the point they're trying to make. And
Mhm.
I'm a social person. I'm very, very sociable, but I don't like to be in large groups or with a lot of people and everybody talking at the same time, because that kind of like, it gives me like a headache, like an anxiety type of thing. But I love helping people. I just don't want everybody coming at the same time. But going back to that particular family member or friend, is that sometimes you have to know when to say, you know what, I don't have time for you specifically today,
Mhm.
because I want to be there 100%. Right now I don't feel like I can.
Mhm. Yep, that's
Right?
That's true, Nexie. I had a thing that I can only tell my people that I'm close to. It's like I like people, but I don't like people.
There you
Only
go.
your friends will get that. Like I like people, but I only like specific. I guess you could say I only like specific people. There are certain people like. And I was like, you make me rethink if I even want to be around people. I'm like, no.
And that's the thing, as you say, as you get older, your tolerance, your foolishness tolerance gets very thin. Very, very, that layer gets very,
Very
very
good.
thin. Yeah,
Mhm.
that space, the huge gap you have, it gets very, very small,
Mhm.
because you start seeing that I'm dedicating too much time to this person. I have never told this person, you know what, just get to the point. Right? Like, I get it, you're in distress, but what is it? Let me see if I see what you're asking, and then go on with the story, but just tell me exactly what is it that you need, so that I can try to think as you're talking to me, see if I can help you.
Yeah. You know what I always say? My brother, he gets so mad when I say this. And I was like, can you give me the cliff notes? Like, yeah, I'm I'm still working on me, but it's like, yeah, and this, and they wore a blue shirt. Like he's a detail person.
Oh, I
And
have.
and they went out, and it was about 3 o'clock, and this one had this, and she was drinking a Chardonnay, and I was like,
Did you bring me a glass of it? Because if not, then
I
why
was
are you
like
telling
I was
me?
like, "And the point." Yeah. Yeah, I'm still working on me. I'm still working on
We
patience.
are. We
Uh,
are a work in progress. We are a work in progress, Marlene. But I feel that a lot of people expect us to just be there. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Expects us to tolerate everything that they do, or put up with everything that they do, or everything they say, or they want us to read minds sometimes. And that
mhm.
word, they expect us to. I don't like that. I don't want people
Me
to expect
either.
me to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect anyone to stick around or do anything for me, or help me solve my problems or whatever. I don't want people to have to say that to me. I expected you to be there. No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm
And
my own person.
And you know what, Nexie? I feel that's a problem with a lot of people, expecting things from other people that it's not their job or responsibility to do.
Hmm.
I think I spent that was probably a year or two of my therapy is releasing myself from the bondage of expectations, assumptions, and what you call it, thinking things that I feel like I deserve from certain people. I think that took me about a year in therapy for me to release those bonds and to get free. Just because we know people, just because we've been around them. Just because whoever the relationship we are to that person does not mean that we're entitled to know things, to be around, to get certain support. We kind of, it's like an unspoken thing. We feel sometimes that we deserve to get certain things, right? We feel we deserve for a certain support just because they are whatever role or title they are, right, in our life. But it doesn't, one plus one doesn't always equal two. Some people aren't willing to give back what we give to them, and we have to identify that and realize that that's only a gift that you get from certain people. Some people give us the gift of whatever it is, and we have
Mm-hmm.
to realize those certain people. And there's some people that either don't want to, they don't know how to, or they can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had to understand too, that sometimes people will want to be there and to do certain things, but they just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't.
Yeah, and again, it's is the work that we have done for us, is the many years of therapy, is the many years
Mhm.
of just ripping our soul apart and putting it back together in a better light. So a lot of times I feel like, okay, I've done this for me. I've gone through the works to get to where I am today.
Mhm.
Um, you've known my journey. You've seen me go through it. You've seen the before and after. You've seen how much it helped me. So if I was able to do this and I'm in a good space now, and you expect me to do all of this, why? I'm not your therapist. Why not go to therapy and get the help that you need? Sometimes people sometimes get you back to that, like, oh, I can't deal with this today. Not today. How many times have I told you you need therapy? You
Mhm.
need to go and work on
And a
yourself.
lot of things you need. Some people need therapy. Some people need God. Some people need a financial planner. I got a list. I was like, don't let me go back into my notes from therapy. You need, you know what else you need? You need don't. I was like, don't get me started, because the whole thing about life is when you step into your own awareness and you know your worth as a woman or as a man, you can't undo that anymore. Like before, you used to be able to, put up with things and foolishness, and you
Mm.
were gullible, vulnerable, you were, inconsistent, and a lot of things that you just didn't possess because you didn't know yourself. But once you step into those shoes of, I know me, I know what I like, I know what I don't like, I know my boundaries, and I recognize, I see you for a mile coming, don't even come this way. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things that once you know you, you can spot things right off that before you knew yourself and loved yourself. And yeah,
You just know, but
you just know.
again, Marlene, it's, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but again, is that people, that expectation, well, you're, like I said before, like, I love my children, Marlene. I love my kids.
Mhm.
I truly, with everything that I got, I adore my children. I love them. But there is sometimes that you need to remind them that even though you are their parent, right? Or you have to
Mhm.
remind other members of your family that, yes, I am his or her mom, but I cannot get involved in, their life right now because, it's not my place. It's not, it doesn't, I don't feel that it's that I have to do that. If they ask for help, and even when they do, I have to tell them, you know what, especially if it comes to their relationships, I don't like getting involved in that. So a lot of people expect you, because you are their parent, that if you see something going on in their relationship. They want you to step in, and I said, no, I can't do that. That's their life. If they come up to me for help or whatever it is, I'm going to try to understand what's going on
Mhm.
and help them as much as I possibly can without putting my 2 cents or
Mhm.
interfering in it. I can listen, I can say, well, how do you think this can be solved? But I cannot tell them what to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
They life, it's and because I'm their mom, or I'm their parent, right? I have
Mhm.
to, they expect me to solve things. I can't do that. They're grown-ups, they're adults. They have their lives. I cannot help them do that. And that's what I was telling you. A lot of people expect you to do a certain thing because you're their relative or because of whatever.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's tiring.
And I've seen that. What do they call them? It's a show now. I forget what's the name of this show, but it's something
Smother,
like,
smother.
yes, Mother. That's the show, and
It's
and
disturbing.
it's unbelievable to me. It's like the ones that they have to check with their mother about every, like they can't make a decision. It's like they're a robot. First, I have to call my mother. I have to call my mother. I have to call my mother for everything, and it's like, but you're a grown woman or you're a grown man. It's some things that it's just off.
Yeah.
It's
and
off.
and you
It's off.
make that conscious decision, Marlene. I'm sorry to cut you off, to not be that person. You make that conscious decision as a mother or as a parent that, hey, you're grown-ups now. Yeah, you're my kids. If you ever need me, I'm here. But I cannot solve your problems. You have to have, I have my life now that, you are on your own, and you have to have your own. I cannot get involved. I cannot be going back and forth trying to fix everything in your life. No, it's not my
Mhm.
job anymore. That's your job.
Yeah.
And I'm a mom. Yes, I love them. Yes, if they ever need me, for anything that I can help them with without compromising my new self. You know what I mean?
Right.
My who I am now. If they ever need me without me compromising them, then yeah, I'll be there.
Mhm.
Hey,
You know,
Shay.
that's one thing that I have to say next to that. Oh my goodness, I remember when my mom told me something. I'm not going to say the details because the what she said cannot be repeated on YouTube.
Okay.
But the cliff notes of it is that I needed to learn to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody tells you that, at first you're like, they're mean or they
Mm-hmm.
hate me. But when you think about it, is no. My mom always said the time to love somebody is not when it's easy, it's when they're hard to deal with, you know? That's when you know you love somebody, when you like, you wanna, you know? But if you
Yes.
don't, you're like, yeah. But but then she just said, you know, I can't make you. All I can do is give advice. You're my child, but she told me, but you're not a child. And it was like,
Ooh, that hurt.
eh. To me, I felt like that was worse than death. I was
Then a
like,
slap on the face,
yeah, that
right?
was worse. I was like, it would have been better if she would have just banned me and slapped me. That would have been better if she was like, you're my child, but you're not a child.
Ugh,
I was like,
yeah.
but I was like, but I want my mommy. But I want my mommy. She's like, your mommy's here, but now it's time. She says, okay, bye bye, and push it down, close the door.
I would have opened the door. I want my mommy. Your mommy's not here right now. Leave a message. Close the door.
I told you what my mom used to say when we were growing up. Mom was like, oh, I hate that word, mom.
Especially if you hear it 40 times in less than a
No,
minute.
remember, but you know how many kids And everybody was like, "Mom, mom, mom." And mom's like, "Oh my God." She'd be like, why can't I have another name besides my poor mother?" But yeah, I feel like it's been a great discussion, great topic.
Yes.
Any final words, Miss Nexie?
You know what about this? Just stay true to yourself. Don't allow others to disrupt all the progress that you have made so far.
Hmm.
That's pretty much it. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me, Miss Marlene.
Thank you so much, Miss Nexie. Appreciate you and your support. And in oh, Shay is here. Let me hear what Shay has to say before we get out of here.
Yay, Shay. Hey,
Hey,
Shay.
Hey,
Shay.
Lexi. Hey, Marlene, my two favorite people. Hi.
Hi.
I didn't know y'all were getting ready to close out. I was just scrolling up the notes to see if you had dropped the link, and I wasn't even listening, so I didn't know you were about to close out. So I'm sorry. I just wanted
That's
to come
okay.
up and just say hi. Y'all always have some good conversation flowing. Y'all already know how that is, and so I just wanted to come on and show some love, show some support to my sisters. And but yeah, Marlene, you were just hitting everything on the head. I'm just making it quick and simple. Everything you mentioned just makes so much sense. You have a way of relaying the information, and you brought out a whole lot of great points. So I just wanted to actually just, I mean, there's nothing really more to piggyback off of it. I just agreed with everything, and I was just coming up to show some love. That's all.
It's a mom, Shay. It's a
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah,
It's a
Yeah.
mom.
you didn't have to hurry up, Shay. I
No,
want you to
Shay,
say
we're
what you
here.
have to
Go
say.
on.
We're here. Say what you want to say.
Yeah, go on, Shay. We're here.
Oh, so y'all just gonna put me on the spot like that, huh?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Boy, I tell you, it's your own
Yes,
people that
yes.
do you, and it's your
It's your
own
own people.
people
That's right.
every time. But no, I was just one thing that I did want to say is, when Marlene was saying how, once you get settled into who you are, that's gonna cut out so much bull. That's a testimony of mine. When I look back on some of the things that I accepted in relationships from toxic family members, from being in relationships, once you tap into who you are, honey, that's game over. That comes with healing, that comes with growth. That's like a reward that comes along with the glow up, because I remember being that person who didn't always speak, who didn't, who would let people kind of walk over them. You would be a doormat to people. I was that person. But what I realized was I had to work on self. It didn't mean I didn't love myself. It didn't mean I didn't respect myself. It meant that I needed to go back in and revisit those areas and make some adjustments. Because once I did that, just like y'all were saying, it's game over. When I tell you, it is literally game over. You will not accept disrespect. You will not accept people handling you any type of a way. I don't even care the relationship. You know, when we're weakened in certain areas in our lives, it will show by what we accept. And it's okay to admit that, we were just weakened in some area and we allowed some okie dokie, okay, but we worked on self. We began to love self more. Because some people say, well, I start to love myself. I like to think that we always love ourselves. We just take it to another level. Because when you truly are in tune with self and you love self, you're not gonna let anybody disrespect you. Okay. So I definitely I was shouting to the mountaintops when Marlene said that, it changes everything. That's why self-healing, self-growth is so important. You have to work on self first. That's the only way we can slip into that mindset.
Yeah, exactly. And Shay, a lot of times, you're a mom, Marlene is a mom, I'm a mom, different ages, of course, but I don't like when people expect you to, uh, like, I don't know, they have like this idea of what kind of parent you should be. And I don't like when they put
Right.
their 2 little cents on you're not acting a certain way here. Maybe you should be this kind. Do you see how I am with my kids? And I'm like, what? It has nothing to do. Like when you start working on yourself, those people, you put a stop to that. I feel that you, and then you put a stop to that. No, that's it.
Yeah.
Game over.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's when you're
That's right.
like, that's your problem. That's your perception. But this is my household and what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you're right. And even when y'all touch bases on, like, as like Nexie was mentioning, the way she is with her kids and relationships, I always second that because that's how my mom was. My mom didn't give unsolicited advice at all. I'm gonna tell you right now, she raised us to where when there's a problem, we were comfortable enough to come to her. No matter what it was. Okay. Now, of course, moms can read us. They know when something is going on before we open our mouths. But she gave me that respect as a woman in my marriage and in my life. She gave me that respect. She never overstepped her boundaries, no matter what was transpiring. You couldn't pay a bad word to roll off her tongue, even about my spouse, no matter what. Mom really was solid in that area. And believe it or not, your kids have a different level of respect when you allow them to live their life. Because I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
tell you right now, sometimes mom is just too invested. I said this once before. Mom needs her own spouse, honey. I'm not trying to sound mean, but mom needs somebody. I'm just being serious though, because a lot of times what will happen is if mom will try to make you feel bad for having your life, and it's like, well, mom, you had your life. That's unfair. We have to let our children do their thing, make their mistakes. They will come if you raise them right, honey. They're gonna come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just that. But that's something you need to program into them when we're growing up. Because if they didn't have that doorway opened when they were younger, they're not gonna come to you when they get older, and that would explain why you cry so much. So I respect that type of parenting where you let your children make those mistakes because they're gonna reach out if they want to. And again, some moms feel some type of a way. They feel some type of a way, and it's normally the boy moms. I hate to even say it. The boy moms can be awful. I'm so sorry. I mean, no pun intended, but I've witnessed a woman's son would be as wicked as the devil himself, and she'll have his back. I'm
Mm.
just saying, it just is beyond me why we can't let go of our sons. When I look at my boys, honey, I would never. Do you hear me? I'm busy trying to raise them to be the type of man that I know they're going to be somebody's husband because that's
Mm-hmm.
the route we're going. So I'm making sure since I want them to be a nice, valuable, God-fearing husband, there's a way I must raise them. Now, if they choose to go their own way, that's on them. But that doesn't negate me from doing my job. I don't want to be in their business, honey, because one thing about it, it gets iffy anyway. Because you're going to go back and forth. You're going to have days where you dislike each other. And, sometimes mom or outsider gets in the mix and they make it worse. Your son was upset, mom, when he came to you. He's no longer mad. Now you still hate his wife. He loves his wife. You see how that can be an iffy situation? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just one of those things where we need to stay in our own lanes, especially when it comes down to marriage. Moms are not excluded. For some
Mm-mm.
reason, moms think that that's their past. No, it's not your marriage. And women of God kind of kill me with that to a certain extent because we're taught better. You know better, honey.
Mm.
You know it. You know it because you're in the same Bible I'm in. You know not to interfere in a marriage, and you know what God thinks about it, but they'll do it anyway. So we have to be careful with that. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, Shay, because not just moms are that way. Sometimes relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins,
Oh
other
yes.
people like the what do you call it, the elders of the family.
Oh
They
yes.
tend to think because basically you become their child too. I know that there are
Yes.
children that you give birth to, but they're the ones that the children that you help to raise, that for them you're their child too, so then they get involved in stuff and you have to say. I remember having conversations with my aunt who was, oh, I think like in her late 80s and early 90s at the time, and I had to say, auntie, I'm grown now, right? You know that, right? And she was like, but eh, because they forget sometimes because they're so used to,
Hmm.
from you were a child, and then one day the child is 18. Not that they don't need you anymore, but it's going to be in a different way now. Now you're going to need to be like changing the roles, not of parenting, but of being supportive and teaching and helping them to say, now is the time to be responsible, and tell them, go home, go love on your husband, go love on your wife. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
This,
goodness.
this is the
Yes.
time. The roles change as you get
Yes.
the roles change.
Hmm.
Yeah, and my mother-in-law. Oh, I'm sorry, Marlene. When you're done, I'm sorry, I didn't
Oh
mean to
yeah, I
interrupt
was
you.
done.
Okay, my I learned to be the way I am, Shay, from my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law and Marlene. I'm sorry, I forgot to say your name too. But I learned to be the mom that I am now thanks to my mother-in-law. She was my mom. She was the mom I never had, and even though her kids were married and she lived with us for 15 years with my husband and I, my mother-in-law never ever got involved in our problems. She could hear us arguing or this and that. My mother-in-law will go to her room and say nothing, nothing about nothing. And she will go visit her other kids in their marriage too, and they will go back and forth with the problems, and still she will not get involved. So I learned to, the what she did was, if you needed her help, they knew that they had that door open. They could come to her and say, you know what, I feel this and this type of way about my wife, blah blah blah. And my mother-in-law will take them back to, you guys got married, you wanted to marry her, so why did you want to marry her? And go back to the beginning, kind of. And I will always look at her like, why is she doing that? That's not what he's asking. But I started noticing that what she was doing is taking him back to when they first met. Why did he wanted to marry her? And think about that, and then try to solve the problem at hand, right? Not trying to break their marriage. She always did that with everybody. And even with me, sometimes, there will be certain things that I'll be upset about. And then, she will try to give me advice without giving me advice. And
See,
that,
that's great. That's great
yes.
because in toxic family dynamics, it does not work like
Oh, no,
that.
no, it's not. I've
But
seen it
but you,
firsthand.
it is completely opposite. Like literally, when you were talking, like it was like a fairy tale. You should have saw me like, oh my gosh, I wish I knew what that felt like. Unfortunately, though, like I said, in toxic family dynamics, people would play husband and wife against each other. That's a crazy situation where you'll take confidential information. One way that I picked up on stuff like that is you have to pay attention to what people tell you. Because if you can tell me what was told to you in confidence, okay, by your son or your daughter, what in the world would make me think that you're not going to turn around and say what I say? But I learned that's how you learn when to say what you want to say. You say what you don't mind being repeated. It's kind of what you
Hmm.
do in those instances because you have to be cordial. You don't want to be mean. So you just say things that you wouldn't mind being repeated. Or I learned to just set certain boundaries, go around certain questions. Because some parents pry into your business asking personal questions. Why? It has nothing to do with you. All of that is kind of cutting the airway to your child and their marriage. I'm a woman, so I've experienced certain things, and it's like, as moms, we have to be careful because there's nothing wrong with loving your children. There's nothing wrong with even inquiring about certain things, but you don't want to overstep your boundaries and put yourself in a position where your child literally feels like they have to pick between their parent and their spouse. What a horrible situation to be in. That's a horrible situation.
Yes, it is, Shay. And like what you were saying too, because Nessie was talking, my eyes was big. I was like, would have been nice to know what that feels like. I was like, don't know about that one either.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, wow.
I was like,
Well,
okay.
let me tell you that my cousin, she got married back in 19 blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter, but she got married, and so they moved to the newlyweds. They moved to their new apartment. After their honeymoon, probably like a week later, they moved to their new apartment, and so she finds herself with the mother-in-law inside her apartment every morning. making breakfast for her husband because he liked
Wait a minute.
Yes, yes, Marlene, it's exactly what you're thinking. So my cousin tells me, I don't know what to do. And I said, what do you mean? She's like, she's coming to our apartment every morning to make breakfast for him because he's a picky eater and he likes his food a certain way. And I said, wait, never mind the food. How in the world does she come into why does she have a key? Oh, my husband gave her one just in case. I said, did he discuss this with you before? No, but when I found her there,
Ooh,
he
goodness
told
sake.
me, yeah, when I found her there the first day, he told me that he had given his mom a key just, in case we needed anything. I said, okay, so how long has she been doing that? And at this point, they've been married for almost a year. She's like, oh, like the week after we came back from our honeymoon. I said, so since you moved into your apartment? She said, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, every morning. I said, why haven't you said anything? I don't know. I just feel bad saying it because I don't want him to feel that I don't like his mom. I said, I don't like his mom and I'm not married to him.
Oh my goodness, but
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So this went on, and I said, you have to put a stop to this because I said it's gonna get. This is not good. This is not good. Well, but he's the only boy. He has four sisters, and he's the only male, and his mom is very close. And I said, okay, I get it, but he's married. You have to say something. So she didn't. It went on. They had their first baby. Well, the lady will be there every morning, going into their room, picking up the baby, taking him outside, and baby, like trying to take the baby away from my cousin.
Mm.
And I was like, wait a minute, why is she still there? Like I kept on telling her, you have to put a stop to this. But long story short, from everything that went on, they ended up getting separated. They ended up almost divorcing until this guy got a backbone and said something to his mother. Because I told her it's not your job to say it. You have to talk to your husband and he has to
Mhm.
talk to her. Because if not, this lady is going to walk all over you guys. That's not her house. That's
And I
not
was
her
just
house.
going to say, I was just about to say, men in general do need to get a backbone. That's
Mm-hmm.
something the wife should never have to stress about. First of all, it's very uncomfortable for me to have an issue with your mom. Of course, and I can see that going vice versa. It puts the spouse in a very uncomfortable situation when there's bad blood or whatever between the mother and your person. It's just one of those things where you have to know to, hey mom, you have to check her. We have to stop giving men a pass. Mom's just mom. No, as a man, I'm sure at some point in time in that man's life he's checked his mother, okay,
Mm-hmm.
at some point in time. One of the things, that's why marriage is so important, is not to be taken lightly, because your wife is your priority. And when you come into a marriage, you're supposed to have that understanding. Whoever you have to correct needs to be corrected, and mama dearest just may need to be corrected.
Oh,
Because believe
oh,
it or not, sometimes mama dearest, again, mama dearest may low-key not even care for the person you're with. That will show in actions. And when we're conversing with our parents, we should pay closer attention as well. Again, we like to just trust and love our parents, but a parent that never claps for you, that's an issue. A parent who, when you're having issues in your marriage, they're just quiet, or you have nothing to say. Mom, I'm talking to you. I mean, it's like those type parents open their mouths with unsolicited advice. But when I really could use your advice, you remain silent. Because sometimes we as children, we just need confirmation from our parents. Sometimes that man just needs to hear you say, well, you know what? You should miss your wife. That's your wife. Better matter of fact, you need to get yourself together so that you're in a position to be a better husband. Sometimes people need to hear that. The one thing that parents withhold, that's why I say it goes back to, if you want your child to be successful, honey, it's going to show. And if you don't want them to be successful in their marriages or relationships, again, it's going to show. And it's going to show in your actions. But yeah, those of us, like if I were to notice my mom was funny, acting towards my husband, it would have been, it's my job to check my mom, not
Mm-hmm.
his. It's my
Exactly.
mother. So yeah, when
Mhm.
it's your parent, you should handle that, because that even makes it a lot less controversial. Because I don't want them saying I came at them the wrong way. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to add to that too, Shay. It's not just mothers and fathers, it's also siblings because sometimes siblings, I can say in my case, if you have a lot of siblings or you have close relationships with your siblings, and maybe if you were single for a long time and then you finally get in a relationship, it's like your siblings overtake your family and tell you what you should be doing, or they try to control your relationship and all those things. But one of the best things that I read in a book one time is when you get to that level of your relationship to where you know you're going to stay into a committed relationship, you have to inform other people in your life. This is my person. You will respect him or her, and I won't have anything less.
Yeah, it is your job. In reality, and again, this is something that it happened a long time ago. They got separated for a minute, and thank God they went back together and they fixed whatever the problem was. But again, I understand that my cousin didn't want us go there because she was afraid that the lady was not gonna like her, and I told her she doesn't like you anyway. You took her baby. She doesn't like you anyway. So what's the problem? I said, but you're not supposed to be the one dealing with it. Now, for me, is I don't want to, as a grown woman, right? As a grown up, as an elder, as we call it sometimes, my job is to stay away from it and respect their marriage. That's my
Mhm.
job as a mom. There might be a lot of things I don't like that goes on in their marriage, but I keep it to myself. I can talk to my best friends about it. I can say, I don't like this, I don't like that, but I will never go to my child with the things that I don't like, because I feel that it has my children have to be the ones to figure that out. If I say something because I'm their mother, I may put that little seed in their head, and they can roll it up to make it a
Yes.
huge problem when it may
Yes.
be just my
Yes.
opinion. It may be just my,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So
I
I
do.
there's a lot of things, like my son is married, my daughters are married. Um, I love their spouses, both of them. They're very, very nice. My other daughter, she lives far away, so I really don't. I mean, I know him, but we don't interact as much because they live like a few states away from us. But the two that I have here with me, they have their marriage and whatever. And if they ever have a problem, a money problem, or a certain question they have about something that the spouse did or whatever, I try to ask them why they felt that way they did, because I don't want to say, what, yes, I knew it. That's how I felt about him too. Or, yeah, I
Mhm.
noticed that, because if you say those things, you put that little seed of
Yep.
contention in there. You put that little nagging little thing inside their heads, and it's their marriage, right? You cannot get involved. I have a problem too when mother-in-laws tell their sons, I don't like your wife. I never thought she was good enough for you. Or
Woo.
they tell their daughter-in-laws, my
Oh my
husband is
goodness. I didn't
your
even mean
husband.
to interrupt. Lord have mercy. I'm sorry. I just wanted to laugh out loud at that real quick because I'm gonna hop off. I'm getting ready for work. But I want to
Okay.
say this real quick. I didn't mean to cut you off. And let me tell you something, Nixie. You hit the nail on the head when you said that there, honey. That is the wrong thing to ever say to your child. That's more so, to be honest with you, is a reflection of the what you really are about. And you're right. When we trust and have such a place of respect for our parents, that can literally put that little buggy in our ear. We're going to think about that. That's going to sit there. So it's very important for parents not to do that. But I just wanted to say that, y'all. I'm gonna hop down because I got to finish getting ready for work. But thank you for Excuse me. Thank you for having me up, Marlene. It's such a pleasure seeing you next year. I've been missing you, so I'm glad I caught you. Wonderful stream, as always, Marlene. And I'm still listening in, and I shared you out. I'm still here in the cut. Y'all have a good evening, okay? Talk to y'all
Thank you.
later.
You too, Shay. You
All
too,
right,
Shay.
bye.
Bye. Yeah, Marlene, it's sad because I've heard also when the daughter-in-laws congratulate the mom, like, thank you, your son is such an amazing man. And the moms come back and say, yeah, you got lucky with my son. I hope you know how to appreciate it. I've heard that before, and I do a double take because I'm thinking, what in the world? No, you don't treat people like a lot of moms don't have boundaries.
Yeah.
They want to be in everything their kids do, and they forget that their children
Mhm.
are grown ups that are married, and we
Mhm.
need to let them do whatever they have to do. It's not
Right.
our job to praise, oh, yeah, my kid, you got lucky with my son. No, that's to you. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. But anyway, we got the
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
far away from the topic.
That's okay next to because this was a message that somebody needed to hear, and I do agree with that. And one of the things that I will say that I used to get upset with my mom when she would do it, but my mom never got involved in anybody's romantic relationship of any of her children. My mom, I used to be like, Mom, why you don't say nothing? Like with my brother or sister, I was like, but you don't say nothing. And I used to get all, and she said, listen. And my mom showed me the scripture where it says that a son or a daughter must leave their mother and father and stick to their wife or husband. That's she said that's their family now. So yes, that's my child and I love them, but now they have their own. And I
Mm.
gotta respect the boundaries, the law and God and everything. So
Your mom was unique.
yeah, my mom was unique, but then when I found the opposite, when I saw my, other siblings, their mother-in-law, oh, I was like, oh, everybody is not like mama. Because my mom will tell you quick. She'd be like, it'd be like getting late. Mom be like, you need to go home to your wife. You need to go home to your husband.
I got
Put your bye.
I got rid of you already.
I
What are you
love
doing
you. I
here?
love you, but you need to go. Yeah, mom used to always tell us all the time as children, make sure you're taking care of your spouse.
Hmm.
And like if you're not, she said, that's on you if you don't do it. But you ain't gonna be here blaming me and talking about I was at mama's house, but like gotta go. See ya.
You don't want to be, yeah.
My
But
mom was
that's
like, I'll push you out the door with a plate of food and talk about for you and your wife or you and your husband. Goodbye. Give up my love. Goodbye. And lock the door. But I was not talk, done.
you were done in my ears.
Yeah, Mark. Okay, okay. Bye-bye. See you later. And the same thing applies with siblings that one thing that I definitely learned about relationships is that we have to be careful what we tell siblings,
Hmm.
our friends, because yes, friends become our family. And
Hmm.
we have to be careful because they're going to be like, if you say something and you're like, they're acting up, and they become mama or papa bear, but like, oh, who we got to fight? What we going to do? You got to be careful what you say to them because then they're going to be like, when they finally show up, huh? Oh, here they come.
Oh,
Mhm.
here he is, or
Yeah, here
here
he is.
she
Here
is.
she is. And they're like, why they always give me an attitude?
And Marlene, that's something actually very, very important about this that you just said. Um, I have literally had conversations and had to stop my daughter, and sometimes um, multiple times in my kids in their track, daughters and sons, because um when they first got married, or with this person, they will overshare about somebody that they didn't like, or something that that person did to them. And before their partner, or their husband or wife, met this individual. And I stopped them in their tracks one day, and I said, hey, wait a minute. I said, don't do that, because you have a problem with this person, because you guys have a history of whatever it is that you guys go back and forth with. I said, but your spouse or your boyfriend, or whatever, doesn't know this person. By you telling them your
Mhm.
negative thoughts about this person, you're not allowing your spouse to build a normal relationship with this individual, because you're already poisoning their mind. I said, don't do that. Don't do that. Keep whatever it is that you have going on with this person to yourself, and allow even your children. I said, it's once you start having them, whatever problem you have with me, dad, uncle, whatever, keep it to yourself. Allow your children to bond with that individual. And if you say that this person is as bad as you think he is or she is, that this, your spouse or your children will see it. But don't poison them before they have established a relationship, because a lot of times, when we say this person did this to me, this person did that, you stop the family bonding with
Yep.
each other. And then you get that, oh yeah, I mean, your uncle, he's so cool and everything, but I can't believe he did that to you, or he was mean to you, or he was rude to you, or whatever it is. So we have to be careful on the things that we say to others, when they're coming into our family, newly coming in, because we can create
Mhm.
probably a better unity, a better bonding process, if we keep our thoughts to ourselves and allowed everything to work, organically in their form.
I'm so glad that you said that, Nexie, because let me tell you, it was not that way when I grew up. It was like, if my mom, my dad, my siblings, or whoever, if whoever didn't get along, it was always voiced. I don't get along, and you knew what they did, and it was like a scratch record. You knew the story word for word, and they did this, and it was 19 this whatever, and they did this, and they were wearing this outfit like in detail. They would tell it. You knew the story, so that kind of poisoned my mind to certain relationships. And I had to, when I got older, I had to learn to have my own relationship with my uncles and my aunts, because on my dad's side, my dad completely cut off all his siblings.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to have my own personal relationship with them. And actually, Nexie, sneaking out to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd
I,
be like,
I
where were you? Where were you? I was out. Yeah, and and for years I hid my relationship until one day I said, "This is stupid. I'm not
Mhm.
hiding this anymore." I was out with Uncle. Oh, you. Oh, and what did they do? I was like, "We had a good time." You did? I was like, "Yeah." Or I was with Auntie. You were with Auntie. Okay. Now, I bet she did. No, actually, she didn't. And I think in doing that, when I finally found enough courage to say I have my own personal relationship with them, I said to myself, maybe you should give them another chance, mom and dad, because let me be honest. If I was in a space in my life to where I was very, what is it called? Very immature, very jealous, very,
Mhm.
not in a good space, also them too. And I say you have to give people that sort of mercy and kindness and compassion. Give them some room to grow.
Exactly, Marlene. You cannot
Yeah, we have to push
you cannot poison somebody's mind, because of your past with them. You have to allow the relationship with the other individual to, you got to let them learn how this other person is. Because if you from the beginning start with your he did this, she did that, but that's between you two. It has nothing to do with, the nieces and nephews
Mhm.
relationship with their uncles or aunties. And having to and again, I told them, you have to stop that. You have to
Mhm.
allow this person to form a relationship and let them find out. I say, you volunteer too much information and you're not allowing the family to bond.
Yeah.
And whatever problem you and so had, that's between you guys. It has nothing to do with your spouse. Nothing to do with them.
Nexie, let me tell you something, Nexie. When I got to be older, and I know that because I my family watches my stuff, but I'm gonna say it anyways. But I found out when I got to be older that the problem was not my uncles and my aunts. It was my
Yep.
daddy.
Yep.
It was my daddy or my mama.
Again, eventually you will find out. But you had to, they have had to allow you to get that relationship going with your auntie and your uncle, because whatever it is that they were having a problem with, it had nothing to do with you guys. Nothing to do. And depriving someone from forming a bond with another family, close family member, your brother or sister, it's uncalled for. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of times my kids have figured out certain things about the family and I haven't said anything. And then they say, can you believe he said this and that to me? Oh, okay, really? Wow, yeah, I can imagine. I can believe that. Oh, so you know, right, Mom? You knew. And I'm like, yes, but you had to form your own opinion, because if I tell you what happened between
Mhm.
us, I'm poisoning your mind. So you had to know, because later on you will say, you stopped me from having that
Yeah.
relationship. You did this to me. I
Yeah.
could have had my cousins, around me with my uncle and everything, but you, so I didn't want that. So I wanted them to
Mhm.
find out on their own with the grandparents and with the rest of the family. And that is the thing
What?
that it goes again with the same thing with our in-laws, with our daughter-in-laws, our son-in-laws. I do not, my daughter-in-law comes, from her family's, it's really nice people. Our family, we're nice people. And sometimes I have, talked to my son on certain things about, if she is voicing certain fears, take them seriously. She is afraid of it. Don't joke around, because, you know,
Mhm.
this is, she feels that fear. Don't dismiss it. Make sure you take it into account. So a lot of the things that I do sometimes get involved is just to advocate for that relationship to
Mhm.
grow, not for that relationship to break.
Yeah.
So we have to take that into consideration. When my kids are saying a little too much, I stop them. I said, let me find out on my own. That's your
Yeah.
opinion, let me figure it out.
And you know what? Next week, I feel so good and proud of myself. I really do,
Of course you
because
do.
I really do. Next thing, like I'm like, you have really grown up, because before, the way that I grew up, like people will say, well, this is the way I am. And yes, there are certain things that I saw, from parents and other people close to my parents that was kind of like closed minded. But as I got to be older, I had to learn to formulate, but what do I think? And what do
Mm-hmm.
I want? And what do I like? So I don't want to do the same thing. I had to start giving my siblings and other people that I know the same freedoms, to not
Mm-hmm.
jump to conclusions, to let, if they're into something, for me not to involve and and why are you doing that to my sister? Like, no, let them to
Mm-hmm.
have their own battle and stay
Exactly.
out of it. And the same thing, now that I'm in the role of parenting, now when I see certain things that I want to say something so bad, I'm like, oh,
Mm-mm.
and I was like, oh, and I just walk away. I was like, I can't. And I just go in and say, what's wrong with you? Nothing, nothing.
I
Because
gotta go before I say
you
something.
have to let them find out for themselves. You have to let them form their own relationship with whatever relatives on their own, because I feel sad because I didn't get to know my aunts and uncles until really late in life, until I was in my 20s. So I had like 20 years of my life without knowing my uncles and my aunts.
Oh, that's so
which
bad.
I feel like that hurts me a lot to think about it. But towards the end of their life, we did form bonds and relationships before they passed. But I had to put in the work to do it. I had to sneak around to do it. And that's not good. And that's something that if you are personally doing that, I give that motivation that just because you may think a certain way about your brothers or sisters, don't stop your kids from having relationship with your brother and sisters. Let them say, I don't want to be around uncle anymore, or I don't want to
Hmm.
be around auntie, or I don't like when they do this to me. Let
It,
them do it, but don't tell them your auntie or your uncle, they're this, or,
you can't.
we're not doing that. We're not
It's
doing that.
unfair. It's unfair for the child for you to do that, because you stop them from probably having a wonderful close relationship, with their aunt or uncle. It, it's
Mhm.
it's it's sad. It
Yeah.
saddens me sometimes when things like this happen, because again, we're not allowing that relationship to form the way it's supposed to,
Mhm.
because of our prejudice against our
Right.
brother or sister,
So,
or our
or
cousins.
resentment.
Resentment, there you go, exactly. It has nothing to do with our
Mhm.
kids. And
Yep.
the same goes for our parents. Whatever relationship I had with my mom, before, my kids didn't know. They knew that she had left, right, when I was
Mhm.
5 years old, but that's all they knew. I allowed them to figure her out on their own, and they
Mm.
did, without me saying one bad word about her.
Okay.
They figured it out. And eventually they say, you know what? I'm not going to continue this because it's hurting me.
Yep.
Or, I don't think it's a good thing that I go to grandma so often. I'm going to stop going because it's
Yep.
messing with me. And I said, okay, whatever it is, whatever you need.
Whatever you want. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
Exactly. And those are the things that we need to learn, to accept. We need to learn to, keep our mouth shut, for so that our kids can form those bonds with others.
Mhm.
Um, it's the only way you're gonna be able to ensure that your kids are making their own decisions and not what you put in their head.
Mhm. And also, it's also about control too, because
Mm.
ooh, another message, another
You
word,
want to
right?
go there?
Yes, I do want to go there.
Don't go there,
It,
Marlene.
I am going to go there. It is about being controlling, though, if we're 100% honest. We are trying to control our kids because we want to control what they do and what they hear. And also, here's another thing that people don't want to know. Like when you're a parent and stuff, you don't want your kids around your brothers and sisters because you don't want them to find out what you used to do. That part. That part. What does it apply to? Come on, I know there's somebody. I know it.
I'm laughing because I've seen so many people say, I'm going to keep them away from my cousin. She knows all my
I
dirt.
don't want that to know. I don't want that to know about my business, what I was doing. No, no, no. But I just want to highlight this comment from Miss Tamika Davis. She says, I have been working on myself for a minute so I can get it right. And I'm
Wonderful.
and I'm glad to hear that, Tamika.
Congratulations, Tamika.
Congratulations.
It's very important for
Bravo.
us to do that. Yes, bravo. It's important because, the deal, break it or make it. It's
Mhm.
important that it's funny that we get ready for everything else, but not how to be the best parent that we can be
Mhm.
before we get there. So that's a good thing. That is a wonderful thing.
Yes, I'm so happy for you and everybody who's working on themselves. And I just wanted to say that, you know, to all the brothers, the sisters, aunts, uncles, grandmas, in all relationships, I had to come to, the grips of saying, I don't have the best relationship with whoever it is in my family, right? And then I had to ask myself, but whose job is it to fix it? So
Mhm.
I started to put in some work. Okay. And send the first text. And the first text was like, thank you for being a part of my life. That's how I started our new relationship. They're like, what? And I said, yeah, from now on, I'm going to be supportive of you. We're going to have our own conversations, and I'm leaving everything from the past, and we're going to start a fresh slate. There are some
Mm,
people that don't want to start a fresh slate and they want to live in that. I don't operate with those people. I leave those people alone. But I want to
yes.
stay with the people who are willing to, let's move forward. How are you doing today? Like, and these are things that are easy for me, having conversations saying, how are you doing? Is everything all right? Do you need something? How can I support you? I That's not the language that I grew up talking with, but now that's what I do because that's what I want. I want that back. I want back that same energy.
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
I had to learn to, it's uncomfortable and it's one of those growing pains, but I'm grateful because now I have actually had, I can say I have relationships with my brothers and sisters. Remarkable.
And that's what I was about to say. Remarkable, and you have beautiful and um healing relationships with them,
Mhm.
because you guys are in the
Opposite.
healing process of
Mhm.
everything that happened in your childhood. And that's the whole point here, is that when we talk about issues like this, even though we start with one topic and there's five more added to it, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. We do it because we're all a work in progress. There's no such a
Mhm.
thing as a complete put together human. That will not be a human, it will be a computer. And even computers sometimes make mistakes, but that's not the point. The point here is that we're all a work in progress. And if we can help, voice out certain things that are do's and don'ts and that have worked for us and that may help somebody else, it's why we do this. So now that you have this work in progress and healing process with your siblings, it's so amazing because your nieces, nephews, and the rest of the family is going to benefit from it.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to take full credit for
Of
it
course
because
not.
it's first of all, let me say this, and it's a deep waters. It's hard to talk about, but it's honest and real because I'm human, and but if certain people in my life didn't pass away and I didn't go through certain things. Sometimes in our hardest times, in our darkest times, things that may have broke you may be the reason why you elevate.
Mm-hmm.
Because while certain people are in your life, would you actually speak up? Would you actually, do things while they were there? No, because you get comfortable and you get used to doing things. But when people leave your life and now you have nothing else to do, it's like now is my time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I'm grateful for that because I never would believe that I'm stronger today than I was when they were around.
Yes.
I'm stronger.
But sometimes even the traumas that you experience with, sometimes that we go through with family and stuff, sometimes when they are still around is what frees us up and stops us
Mhm.
from maybe making the changes that we know would also benefit them too. But all that, you don't want to go there because you know that it's gonna bring back everything again. and
Right.
and and even though they can benefit from the growth that we have made through therapy, and the wonderful people that we have become, the more sane that we have become from it, you don't want to go there because you know that they're not ready to receive that message,
Mhm.
and they're gonna knock you 5 to 10 steps down again. So it won't make a difference. It will create chaos, and which is probably why sometimes I think we stop ourselves
Right.
from, bringing up change.
Right. But we can't stop the change. And there has to be somebody, like people will say all the time, I grew up in a dysfunctional family. I can say that. I did. I definitely grew up in a dysfunctional family, lots of pain, trauma. But the whole thing is that I made a choice to get up. I made a
Mhm.
choice to rise above the ashes and to be different and to have different thinking and, put in the work to have that. So it's not like it's something that just I have the life that I have now just because. No, it didn't just happen. It didn't
Mhm.
just happen.
You had to put the work
Mhm.
for it to happen. And we all, one way or another, come from dysfunctional families, because not everybody
Mhm.
is we wouldn't need therapists, we wouldn't need psychologists and all of that if everybody was all put together. Even on the most perfect of families, there's always that one person that
Yep.
didn't adhere to their upbringing, because for them it wasn't
Mhm.
the right way to raise someone. So we have to rise from those ashes, as you say, and put ourselves back
Mhm.
together as best as we can, and moving forward, try to change those ashes we left behind, and make it better, so for the future generation, hopefully they
Oh,
won't have to go through as much as we did.
yeah. I say that all the time to the younger people in my family. I was like, y'all don't know how good you have it. I said, you don't know how. I was like, when I hear them having like somebody saying, and then they'll give their input, and I'd be like, ooh. I said, times have changed. Woo. I said, there is no way I could have been able to have a conversation at the same time with other adults when I was younger.
Yeah,
It could
exactly. That on
never
itself,
happen. Ever.
and that on itself, you're like, oh my God, you guys are complaining about nothing. If you only knew what we.
I said you have no idea. I said the struggles. So that you're able to sit here and saying, I don't want turkey, I want this. I was like, God, because sometimes I have to muzzle myself and say, let them have a choice, let them
Yep.
have a choice.
Let him speak up. Don't stop them. Don't stop them. Don't be that one auntie that always tells people,
I
you don't know how good you have it.
know. Yeah, but sometimes I'd be like, ooh, I said, ooh, you're so spoiled. I said, I want to say, ooh, you're so
Yeah, deep breathe.
spoiled.
Deep breathe. But that is the reason why we think that way, is because that's what it was put in our heads, that if people spoke
Mhm.
up, they were spoiled, they were
Yeah.
rude, they were this. And it's
Yeah.
not even that, but again, is the influence of people that put that little
Mhm.
bad seed in you. Now you see them, you're like, oh my God, they're so spoiled. But then, not really. This is exactly what I went to therapy for, so that I
Yeah.
can see this as a normal occurrence and
Yeah.
not something abnormal.
Yeah, and I think that that's the difference now. Now I can look at my family and say like I'm like, oh my God, like I'll see like brothers and sisters like coming there and it's not like awkward. They'll be like, hey, what's going on? And hugging each other. And I'll be like, hmm. I'm like, hmm. I'm like,
Look at how
I said, look
properly
at y'all.
planned.
Look at y'all hugging and talking. I said, I said, whisper to my nieces and nephews. I was like, is that communication? How dare you? I said, no phones? And they said, no, we're going to put away our phones. I was like, oh, I'm going to have a heart attack. Oh,
You are so bad,
is that
babe.
communication? Talking, expressing feelings? Huh?
That is beautiful.
I was like, I said, growth, when growth happens, and it's not something that's overnight. This
No.
is this is something that's taken about 5 or 6 years in my family for us to finally be at a place to where we can be like, okay, like we'll be now we're able to be honest with each other. I don't feel like seeing y'all today. Okay.
And
Uh,
it's happening
and-
before
and-
your eyes. How
yeah, and
beautiful
you'd be
is
like,
that?
oh, because before you would come and you would have an attitude and I don't want to be here. Then
Yep.
why would you come? Be honest with you. I don't want to see y'all today. I'll see you next time. Okay.
But and they respect that, because
Yeah, and we can,
you
and
know
everybody say, "Thank goodness," because we did not need, and everybody like, we did not need their attitude. Hmm.
but it's, you see, that's when you see that everything that you have worked so hard for is
Hmm.
paying off. It's
Yeah,
working, and it's something that a lot of us don't get to see in this lifetime.
yeah.
you know.
I always said that. I said, even if I said, until I get old and I'm with a walker, I said, I don't want to stop until I could actually, in my family, to be like, have my brothers, my sisters, aunts and uncles, or cousins, and be like, I like them.
Hmm.
Hmm, I like them. I was like, they're all right. I was like, they get on my nerves, but they're all right.
Yeah, but it, you know, it's something that it, if you would have not worked on yourself, again, you would have not
Mhm.
been able to see this beautiful thing happening. And a lot of us give up too soon, you
Yeah,
know, or we don't, because we don't know what to do,
yeah,
unfortunately. But when you get to experience it, when you get to see that all the those tears shed on that, you know, therapist office, now it's being, you know, paid
mhm.
off by the universe in front of your eyes.
Right.
That's when you say, good job, I
Yes.
did
I
good.
was like, it was
Okay,
all worth it.
it was all worth it. I accomplished exactly what more than what I thought I
Yep.
would accomplish in this lifetime.
And I was like, you don't even know how many times I was on my knees to forgive you. You have no idea.
Exactly. And to let go of a, you know, probably a poisonous
Mhm.
mind state of mind from your past.
Yeah.
Because when people are, and they don't realize this, and I tell people a lot, you know, there's children here, watch what you say,
Right.
because they're little sponges. And if you have, you know, hate or discontent or whatever it is that you have
Mhm.
for that family member, this child is absorbing that
And taking it all in.
all in, and they are gonna grow up with, oh, that's the auntie that was mean to my mom or my dad or whatever. And you know,
Mhm.
we have to be careful, because again, putting those, you know, doubts in our kids, or those hate or dislikes on others, is it's not our job to do that. Our job is to, you know, make them secure enough to go tackle the world, and you know, be there if they need us,
Yeah.
without, you know, adding anything else to the mix.
Mhm. And you know, Nextly, one of the best gifts that I can say now is that before I used to be in a position to be like, like we feel like we have to love our family, like, like it's something hard or heavy to do. And
Mm-hmm.
now to me, I feel it's two different things. You can love people out of requirement, or you can love people from the heart. And
Mm-hmm.
before, I was loving them because I had
You
to.
had to.
And now it's like, I'm going to hang out with my brother, or okay, bye, I gotta go hang out with my sister. Like, there's joy there now.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're
I feel like
loving them
that's a gift.
from your heart now. You're loving
Yeah,
them
now.
because you want
Mhm.
to love them, not because you
Yeah.
have to. You're loving
Mhm.
on them just for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yep. Oh,
Well, if we
what a
don't
full circle.
leave, we're gonna be here until tonight, so we have to go now.
I was just about to say that. Okay. So, final thoughts, Miss Nexie?
You know what? I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to. Just,
Okay.
you know, we have to remember that we're all a work in progress. You know, continue to work on ourselves so that, you know, we can leave this world in our families in a better light.
Yes. Well said, Miss Nexie. Thank you so much. And shout out to Miss Shay Love. Thank you so much for supporting as well. And my final thoughts. We each only get a certain period of time on this earth to we don't waste it. Don't waste your time, don't waste your effort, don't waste your energy on certain people. And you have to pay attention to the people who are important to you. If they are important to you, show it, prove it. But also, don't forget yourself in the process of this thing called life. Don't forget to take your breaks, to get your rest, to sleep, to take care of your health. Do what you need to do so that you're okay mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, all of it. Be okay with you. And it means sometimes you got to unplug from other people, from social media. just so that you can be okay. Unplug so that you can recharge and fill up your cup. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching on the replay, leave me a comment in the comment section below. And shout out to everybody who is in the chat today. You all gave amazing thoughts, comments. I really appreciated this. This has been a wonderful, motivated podcast. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Remember to take care of you because, like I always say over here on Marlene Motivates, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh.